Welcome to another edition of Legend in Two Games. I'm Isaiah Rose with Frank Tier.
What's up, y'all?
So, for this episode, we're definitely going to highlight the NBA as the season is getting ready to start in a couple of days, October 21st. And specifically, for this particular season, there's 275 nationally televised games across all the streaming platforms involved. So, there's definitely going to be a lot of content in regards to that. But before we do that, we want to highlight the 2025 WNBA champions, the Las Vegas Aces, who won 3 championships in 4 years, and they have solidified their dynasty. Frank, we spoke a lot off air in regards to the dynasty, and in particular, Asia Wilson. So you have some thoughts in regards to her dominance, specifically over this season, and I definitely want to dive into that. So, how you feel about it?
Yeah, it was an amazing championship run. It was improbable, right? If you told me they'd win 2 months ago, I would say you were crazy, right? I didn't even think see her win an MVP about 2.5 months, 2 months back. It really seemed at some point that Nafisa and the Lynx were streaking. Then Alyssa Thomas got in the convo for MVP, right? Because Asia always had the numbers to get it, but the Aces were struggling so much. They like, yo, are they gonna make the playoffs? So to see the win streak that they went on, they reeled off, I think maybe 13 or 14 consecutive games, if I'm not mistaken. I'm like, yo, she really took this award and she really took the championship. So I know this you have your opinions on this, right? But I think she was the GOAT before. I think this cemented her GOAT status, right? Yeah, I think having her individual accolades with not having 3 championships and the way she kind of took this season, grabbed the bull by the horns. I think she's the GOAT now. I'm not sure if there's much debate there left.
Well, when you speak to her dominance individually, you spoke about her numbers this year, averaging 23, just over 23 points a game, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. A lot of those numbers were necessary because of the struggles you spoke about, just in terms of a lot of different factors. This Vegas team always has a target on their back because of their championship pedigree. But in particular, this year they dealt with a lot of injuries, and a lot of their players that they were used to being consistent weren't as consistent as usual. Uh, when you speak to the likes of Chelsea Gray, Jewel Lloyd, Jackie Young, these are players who have been significant players in WNBA for many, many years. But there were stretches where some of those players weren't performing to the likes of their standard. Going back to your Minnesota point and Nafisa Collier, I mean, this is a team in Minnesota who was on the brink of a WNBA title last year, and they lost in controversial fashion. So to start the season the way that they did, they had a chip on their shoulders to prove that they were worthy of of the national championship, excuse me, of the WNBA title in their own right. So that was Nafisa's MVP case herself, like trying to prove that and she obviously is one of the best, but just having that momentum carry them into the season the way that it did, it looked like a crash course for the Minnesota championship in that regard. But then injuries happened to Nafisa, and that kind of allowed Asia, in my opinion, to stay in the race. Obviously, the numbers were what they were, but with the team struggling, it almost seemed like it would be an empty season.
Yeah,
And then to your point, they just were able to rattle off so many wins. It was like, wait a minute, this could really happen.
happening. Yep.
Now, when you speak to GOAT status, on a, from a personal standpoint, I feel like Maya Moore is the best women's basketball player in the history of the game. Shout out to Cheryl Miller because Cheryl Miller really changed the way that women played basketball. So you always got to give her respect in that regard. But in terms of achievement and just overall well-rounded play, I don't think there's a better player than Maya Moore. Because Maya was such a great player, she's been able to play in different different systems and on different teams and be able to showcase herself in a way that allowed for the team to win. Now, obviously, there's been more dominant players in terms of actual numbers or in terms of accolades and individual accolades. I think Maya's won the most. Maya always wins. But for a lot of players, especially in recent history, the WNBA is the standard in terms of the highest level of basketball for women. And Maya doesn't have as many MVPs as some. Pardon me, Asia already has three. She arguably could have won four or five, depending on how you voted. Um, it's hard for me to say somebody's better than Maya,
Okay.
but I think to your point about circumstances and how the Aces won this championship, I think argument could be made that she is the greatest. But I would say she's definitely the most dominant. She's the most physically imposing player, and her numbers, especially as a scorer, have become so much better. If you look at where she was coming out of South Carolina to what she has become, it's almost drastic. It's polar opposite in terms of where she was in her development. But I think that speaks to being greedy and wanting to be the best, and she definitely has showcased that.
For sure. Yeah, I think there's definitely a debate to have between better and between best and greatest, right? Um, I don't think I don't think Asia is a more naturally talented ball player than Maya Moore. Maya Moore has like a silky smooth jump shot. She can handle it, right? We haven't seen her dunk, but she's athletic. She can elevate, for sure. So I think just like the physical aspect of the game, Maya probably beats most players with just natural talent, right? But the same could be true for a lot of like NBA players who may be more naturally talented, but not like greater than other players, right? Like we talk about Kyrie all the time being like naturally talented, but not really being better than like a lot of them players, right? Or like a Carmelo or Tracy McGrady, right? Like great individual talents. And I don't mean to say name because Maya Moore is a great individual talent and she's amazingly accomplished, right? So it's different, right? She has the talent and she has like the championships. So there's that. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, Maya's probably more talented than AJ, but just like in terms of getting the job done, winning and individual accolades, I think AJ is the perfect union. Also, I do think the same way that we kind of value and praise perimeter players over bigs in the men's game is also what we do in the women's game, right? Perimeter
That is definitely a bias.
players look more attractive, right? Like handling the ball, bringing up court, putting moves on players, going to the rack, definitely is more attractive than post players, right? Now AJ has expanded her game, right? And she goes out a little bit, but she's still more of a traditional big, especially in comparison to other players, right? So I think there's that too. So Maya's game looks a lot more attractive than Asia's game, right? But Asia has what a 27 last year or close to 27, like the highest point per game ever. She has like she's tied for the most points in a single game, I think with 53. Yeah, so I just don't know if there's much arguments against AJ at this point. And like you say, there's the hunger for more. Shout out to Lloyd Banks, right? AJ like she wants it more, right? Like I don't know where she stops, right? Does she end at 6 rings? Does she end at 6 MVPs? Like she goes for it, right? Maya did what she did in a short amount of time, then she left, which is amazing, right? But Age is gonna keep going for it. So I think we're gonna see years where she further cement the distance between her and whoever else we think is in GOAT contention. So that's just how like I see Asia so far.
So at this juncture in her career,
Yeah.
her and Maya, her and Maya are at the same space because Maya played 8 years, and then Asia's at 8 years right now. So the difference in between the two is really the MVPs. Asia
Mm-hmm.
has 4 MVPs, Maya only has one.
Mm-hmm.
But everything other than that is kind of similar in regards to all NBAs. Maya has, pardon me, WNBAs. Um, Maya has 7. Asia has 7.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me, Asia has 6. Asia has 2 scoring titles. Maya has 1. In terms of all defense, especially on the interior, the impact that Asia has had definitely allows for her to create the separation there. She's a 5-time all defense. Maya's 2-time. So did in terms of where they are, in terms of what they've done, it's kind of in the same space. But to your point, in regards to how much longer Asia wants to play and just that hunger to be as great as she will be, she's going to create the separation. I think it's going to be very difficult for someone to look at any other player and say that they're as good as Asia. Um, and I think hopefully, with this collective bargaining agreement, they'll be able to, uh, iron out all of the issues that they have with that and allow for them to continue to play. And me personally, I want to see more games played. I definitely enjoyed the changing of the structure in terms of the championships and the playoffs this year because I feel like we need to see a lot more production. You want to see a lot. You want to see players reaching the heights that Asia is doing. When you speak to that 27 a game, that 27. When we speak about the talents of the past, we envision them being able to score to that level. But I just feel like because it was such a small sample size, we didn't get to see it as much. So
Mm-hmm.
now, hopefully, with season expansion, with more expansion, we get more players. I want to see people push those boundaries. I think Asia is doing that for women at a high level, and that's kind of where you want to see when you talk about 53 points. When you talk about her ability to take over games. Now Maya did that too. Diana Taurasi did that too. There's a lot of great players that have done it, but to at the consistency rate that Asia's doing is very tough. It's very tough to go against her at this point.
For sure.
Um, Now it's always a good transition, especially in basketball, when you see, all right, WNBA season is over. Now we could transition to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
This year in particular, there's a lot of changeover. There's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of different things that will be impacting a lot of premier teams going into the season. So it's sort of wide open. I mean, obviously, the Oklahoma City Thunder won the championship last year. Shea Gilgis Alexander is the MVP, Finals MVP, League MVP. He's on a trajectory of his own at this juncture.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you look at the West, you got Denver who retooled. You got Houston who retooled. They got Kevin Durant. So there's a lot of attention on that move. And then you look at the East. The East is so wide open because of the injuries to Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. You got Tyrese Halliburton dealing with an Achilles injury as well. Everything is open in the East. So when you look at the league at this juncture right now, going into the season, what do you think the prospects are?
Yeah, I'm really focused on the East, right? And I think this is right up your alley. I kind of see what the Knicks and the Sixers do, right? People have said the Knicks are the favorite, right, because of the leadership and the killer of Jalen Brunson, right? The Knicks really have like a fullish roster, right? That was Bolden. Brown did apparently retire, right? From being burnt up in basketball, so is kind of a mini blow because I think that would definitely boost their depth. The folks are looking at the Knicks as like, yo, it's your time, right? Like
If
the
not now, then when?
for sure, like you all have what you need. Like you all have the talent, and there's injuries to other teams where like the stage is set for you all, right? I think, but let's see how Philly comes back. Let's see if Embiid is healthy. I know poor George will miss opening night. Isaiah, like I ain't with it, right? But Philly has had two really good drafts, right? I do wonder how the whole McCain EJ and Therese Maxey thing works, right? Because they have three really what appears to be premier guards, right? Their rookie, the third overall pick, is looking amazing, right? Look really good in summer league, look really good in preseason, right? So like, how do you like dial him back and the best of the team? So I'm just wondering. At some point, McCain last year was looking like the rookie of the year, had some really like monster scoring games early. How does Paul George work back into that? And will Embiid, who is arguably the best center in the game, him and Joker are like hand in hand. Will he be healthy, right? Will he give Philly at least 65 games, right, to make them formidable? So it's really tough. If I had to, I say the Knicks will probably the Eastern favorite, but I don't count Philly out because I just think they have like really, really strong pieces, right? I think they have the star power, and it's looking like they may have the depth, right, to cause some noise. So of course you got to lace them up and play, see what happens. But I think is I think Sixer fans should be a little hopeful, right? They should. Oh, this could be something. I know there's been some tough seasons, right? They're like I don't got no hope of nothing, but I think yeah, I think it could be something special if things go correctly. So that's just my yeah.
All right. So full transparency. I'm a huge Sixer fan. I'm gonna live and die Sixer fan. Um, when you speak to the Knicks, I want to go back to the Knicks for a second, then bring it to Philly. I think for as much as we talk about Brunson and as much as we talk about the experience that the Knicks have garnered over the last couple of years, going through the it seems like the normal trajectory of a championship contending team. You go through your ups and downs, your bumps and bruises in the playoffs, and then you finally break through, right? You got to go through it for a couple years, and then you finally break through. So last year they got to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2000 against, on paper, a team that people assumed that they would be able to beat. Carlisle and the Pacers had a lot more or a lot more depth, and they utilized their depth, which was the undoing of Tom Thibodeau. It seems like once again, most of his teams, as much as great as he is in terms of taking them to and maximizing their potential, it seems like the knock on him is that he doesn't utilize his depth enough for his teams to be able to finish. And that reared its ugly head last year, and he was removed, in my opinion, prematurely
I think so as well.
because of everything you mentioned, because of the injuries that happened, because of the changeover that has happened. You have the window was there. If Tom Thibodeau didn't get it done this year coming up, then you could say, okay, with everything that happened, he didn't get it done. But to fire him in the fashion that they did, it seemed like they didn't have a plan. They did it, and then they went through this long, drawn out process to find a way to get Mike. They kind of had to back their way into Mike Brown, and Mike Brown is a good coach. Mike Brown has gone to the NBA Finals, going back to his years in Cleveland with LeBron James. Uh, they lost. They got swept by the Spurs. Then he went on to coach the Lakers, Kobe Dwight and Steve Nash. That iteration of the Lakers. Then he kind of rebuilt a team in the doldrums in the Sacramento Kings and got them to the playoffs for the first time in forever. So he is a competent and good coach. Is his style Does his style match what the Knicks have?
I don't know. I
Does
guess we'll
the
find out. I'm not sure.
We're gonna find out in real time.
Yeah.
Based on how he's coached in the past, I'm not sure they complement each other so well.
Mm-hmm.
But again, a coach has to work with what he has and maximize what he has. So you have an All NBA point guard in Jalen Brunson, a leader in Jalen Brunson. You have Josh Hart, a premier hustle player in this league. You have Karl Anthony Towns, one of the most talented bigs in the league, especially offensively. Defense leaves a lot more to be desired, but it's on the offensive side, he could do every single thing you need a big to do. And I think he's comfortable playing in New York. Now, the thing about Tom Thibodeau, that was different from most coaches, is that I don't want to say different because all coaches do this, but I think more so than not, he hangs his hat on his star player. He emboldens them. He allows them to really maximize what they are
Hmm.
in a way to where it becomes the sole identity of their team. He did it with Derrick Rose. He did it with Jimmy Butler. He did it with, and he's done it with Brunson. So he does it everywhere he goes. It's going to be interesting to see how Mike Brown is able to maximize a Jalen Brunson in the fashion that Tom Thibodeau did, because in my opinion, whether it was right or wrong, that kind of solidified the legitimacy of the Knicks. Now, Mike Brown's job is to make sure that happens with Jalen Brunson, but also maximize
What else?
Jordan Clarkson, maximize Josh Hart. Um, in terms of the depth that you have, you got Deuce McBride. You got other pieces that need to be used for this team to be a well-rounded championship contender.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily know if Mike Brown does that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't really do it with LeBron. In Sacramento, there wasn't a lot of expectations for them.
Yeah.
So for them to push playing playoffs the way they did, it was good for him. But then he ended up getting fired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what, like, who is he? I don't want to say who is he really, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can get them to the space where Tom Thibodeau already had them. So it's like the expectations on Mike Brown is to supersede what Thibodeau did. Thibodeau had him a series away from the finals. If they don't go to the finals, it's like, well, why'd you fire Tom Thibodeau?
Yeah. Right.
Right? That's one. Philly. Okay. They are stuck but they are stuck at the worst space you could be as a franchise
Hmm.
because they see their future right here, but they also have to legitimize their past. You invested so many years in Joel Embiid that you want to give your franchise a real chance to say this player could get us to a championship level. And he's had many, many years and many, many opportunities to do that. And at what point do you say, okay, we got to move on? That's where I'm at. Obviously, Daryl Morey and the franchise are not at that space. So last offseason, they invested, they doubled down. They said, Embiid, you the one. We have Tyrese Maxey, and we're gonna go get Paul George. We're gonna overpay Paul George to be our third option. And in doing so, hopefully we can formulate a big three that can compete with Boston and put us in position to be champions. Right? What happens? Joel Embiid misses nearly the entire season. He was never healthy. And Paul George, you give him 200 million and he's never healthy. So in turn, you're leaving Tyrese Maxey out there by herself many games. And I think the issue that most Sixers fans has had over the years is that the Sixers have built in contingency plans for when Joel Embiid is out. And they do it year in and year out, knowing that he'll never be healthy. But now you're doing this without ever truly setting yourself up to win. If your franchise player is not formidable, dominant, and consistent, what do you have? Now, in terms of talent, we just spoke. You just said, it's a lot of players that's talented, but it doesn't really matter if they're not producing,
Yeah.
right? If Joel not producing, if he's not out there, it don't matter how talented he is. You
Mhm.
know what? Joker is the best because Joker always play.
You say,
Joker always play. So you spoke about McCain. Unfortunately, last year he tore his ACL.
yeah,
He had to miss the rest of the season. He actually went into training camp. He got hurt again with his hand.
yeah,
He had to miss some time, and it's like I hope he's not a snake bit player.
yeah,
Um, hopefully he could get rid of that and get healthy and play the rest of the season. I think to your point about the depth that we have as a Sixer fan, I'm saying we as a Sixer fan. But I think the depth the Sixers have is pretty good because you have Maxi, you have VJ Exum, who's explosive. So I think off that alone, VJ is going to play. He's going to play a lot
Okay.
because Paul George is going to be dealing with this injury. I don't want to say it's a good thing, but it allows the Sixers to have the reasoning to say, let's work him back into the fold.
Yeah.
And in doing so, we're going to be conscious of him getting better, but we can play our young players more often, early and often. Putting VJ in the starting lineup potentially, I'm not going to say right away, but potentially, and then you have McCain coming off the bench as a premier six man, that would be ideal for me because I think having Maxi as the premier ball handler is cool, but you want to give him some space to where he could work off the ball. I think you can do that interchangeably if you put McCain coming in off the bench every now and then you put Maxi on the off ball. He could work as a shooter. And then when you have Embiid, even if he plays, they're gonna do the whole. He's not gonna play every day. He's gonna play, you know.
Yeah.
Again, we could speak all day about that whole plan thing that they do, and I don't like nothing about it.
Mhm.
But I think Philly has the highest upside.
Okay.
Do you believe in it? We'll see. Do I believe in it? No, because I know what Embiid's gonna be.
Mhm.
What he always is. He got to prove me. Until you play 70 games, I just won't ever. I'm done. I'm
Mhm.
finished. You know what I mean? But he is talented, so hopefully, he can play 60 like you said, which is still 22 games missed. Can't believe it. The Paul George thing, I'm done. It's over.
Mhm.
It's over. Even if he is healthy, he's not the same player. He doesn't move as the one thing about Paul that made him special was the two-way ability. He can't defend the same.
No.
His lateral movement is gone,
Yeah.
and to hang your hat on a player who can't defend the same, knowing that his offense is definitely changed too. He's more predicated on shooting threes now rather than attacking and being that uh that well balanced player he used to be.
Mhm.
If that's gone, he's not the same player. So um yeah, that's a big issue. If we look at the East though, outside of Philly, if you look at the landscape, I think you have a lot of young teams that are on the come up that
Mhm.
have to be talked about, like Orlando
Yeah.
or Detroit.
Yeah.
Those two teams could really challenge the Knicks. And then we can't forget about Cleveland.
You know,
Now, Cleveland,
to Alonzo. So is he healthy? We'll see. Can't stay healthy? We'll see.
when you think about Cleveland, what's good about them?
Um, at least for starters, I think they have a strong starting lineup, right? I think they have one of the best starting lineups in the league, right? Especially um, if Lonzo's a really big point guard who can really play make, doesn't require a lot and can really get defensively, right? So I think that opened up a lot for them, right? And Garland will be out for a little bit. So let's see how they play with Lonzo. Now Garland's more of a scorer than Lonzo was. Lonzo also a really good playmaker as well, but Lonzo will allow Mitch to eat while he does like the quote unquote dirty work. So I think that could work really, really well. All right. Therefore, is young, all right, and ever improving, all right. So that everything. Jared Allen, to me, is a solid, strong big. So we'll see. But I think I really liked it. This starting five, right? I'm trying to think about their depth for a second. I think it's solid, but I really like this starting five.
Okay. Now, one thing that has happened to Cleveland throughout the years is that they have these great offensive regular seasons, and then they get in the playoffs
Uh-huh.
and do not perform.
At all.
Particularly their young players. Garland has not performed. Mobley has not performed. And I think for the addition of Jared Allen is a good big, in the regular season, but in the postseason, he the all the advantages that he has in the regular season, they disappear. He's not as physical. He doesn't um he doesn't impose his will on the interior, so people don't fear him going to the paint. It's a puzzling situation because they'll win close to 60 games regular season and get to the postseason and just disappear.
Look at a 7 seed.
Right. So I think that part of it is like a mental thing for them, and I think they have to overcome that to be considered as legitimate. Right. Now they're gonna now with Boston being out the fold, you know, obviously Jalen Brown, All NBA player, All Star, and he in his own right is a great player, but I think he has to prove to others that he can lead a team without Tatum. Tatum has been uh for I would say close to a decade now, one of the most consistent players in the NBA, almost too consistent to get the credit he deserved, the recognition, right? So I think for Boston, they have to prove, that they could, rebuild. And I think for them, this is a good thing because even if they don't, they can look at this year like a rebuild year, a transition year, right? Where do you see Orlando's and Detroit's in this fold?
Um, I see them potentially in the 5 to 7 range.
Okay.
5 to 7 range, yeah. I think they can have a really good season. Detroit pushed the Knicks last year, right? And they've only gotten better, right? Cade has emerged, right?
They picked up Duncan Robinson,
Which is for sure. And then they got the freak twin, right? Who they
Thompson.
those guys look like they improve every 3 months. So yeah, look. The big man,
Jalen Duran, yep.
So yeah, I think they got homeboy who was ready to fight somebody, right?
Isaiah Stewart, he's always ready to go.
Yeah, so I think they can be tough, right? They can be tough. I think they definitely like bringing back that tough BC Detroit energy. And I think they put something together well last year, right? I think it was the start of something good. So I think they're definitely trending in the right direction. Orlando has a star, right? Like they have a star.
Paulo's good.
Yeah, they have a star. Really talented, right? He started off last season like came out the gate really fast, right? Last year. So they also have a really solid roster. They got punched last year, right? But some of the games was close. Right? They got swept, right?
If for Detroit, they win 6. They should. For Orlando,
yeah,
they won. I want to say one game.
Yeah, okay.
I think they won one game. I'm gonna go look now. But I will say for them, remember their season last year wasn't as bad as people think because both Friends and Paulo got hurt at the same time with the same injury.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at a team prior the year before they were a top 5 team and they pushed Cleveland 7. Paulo and Mitch went out in game 7. They should have been, you know what I mean, a lot. So last year they went 41-41. They lost in 5 games. A tough 5 to Boston.
Yeah.
Tough 5. Tough 5. Their issue was shooting, so they went and got Desmond Bain.
We should help them.
Yeah, right.
Help them, right? And give them what a solid second option, maybe second or third option.
Right.
Depending on how it works out, for sure. And also I think Memphis needed a change of pace, right? Something had to give, right? So I think they had to figure out like what to do. I think to them, Bain leaving was the answer. So,
but I mean, they're dealing with a lot of injuries over there.
Yeah,
they're dealing with a lot of injuries. That not only did they lose Bain, but Ja Morant is out. Jaren Jackson is out. Edie is out. So those injuries, and then remember They fired their coach with like 2 weeks left in the season.
Insane.
So there's a lot that comes with that they have to that they got to figure out in terms of, and it's unfortunate because Ja was such, I don't want to say was, because he's still a dynamic player, but I think the perception of him at that prior to his issues with the guns and Instagram and live, it was a it's an unfortunate situation because he was looked at as a player that can go and carry the weight of the league, and it almost seemed like Anthony Edwards, who was considered a great young player at the time,
Yeah.
he could come in and really take on and taking that mantle from Ja. It was supposed to be Ja and Zion.
Yeah. Which was I was just about to go to. Zion has lost weight. He looks good, right? New Orleans has a pretty decent roster. How do you feel about their season, right? Do you think Zion's gonna play 70 games this year? Or 65 games at least?
He's done it before. And,
Yeah.
and this is the misconception that people have about Zion that I argue with all the time because of his issues with injuries, right? My argument to anybody that would listen is that when Zion plays, he's dominant.
He's amazing, for sure.
When he plays, he's dominant.
Yeah.
How long he plays is an issue.
Yeah.
But when he plays, he's dominant. Going back to the 2022 season, was it 2022? 2021 when he played 61 of the 66 games. Let me see. I'm gonna make it I don't want to shortchange his games because people always say he never plays.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get the numbers right.
That's the 27th season, right? On like 60%.
Come on.
Yeah, he
Come
was
on, bro.
like
All right. So last year when he played 30 games. He averaged 25 points a game, 25, 7, and 5 in 30 games. Okay. So in year 2 for him, which is 2020, 2021, he played 61 of 72 games. So he missed 11 games that year, right? That's a good season. He averaged 27 points a game.
Yeah.
Right?
He was at them at the rim.
27 points a game, 61% shooting.
Yeah.
Now, the next year after that, he got hurt. He didn't play. 2022, 2023, he played 30 games. 2023, 2024, he played 70 games. He averaged 23 points a game. He shot 57%. So on his resume, he has 2 seasons where he's played over 80% of the season and put his team in position to be in the playoffs. That's what happened in 2021. He didn't play in the playoffs. No, let me see. Was it playing or playoff? Let me see 2021. Did they go to the playoffs in 2021? I know they went in 20. Okay, so they didn't go to the playoffs, but they were fighting for the playoffs, right? The year he played 70, he got them to the playoffs. The playing game against the Lakers that they had, where he went crazy and really put on the line, he hurt his hamstring in that game. He had almost 40.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When he plays, he's one of the most dominant players in the league. Right? But going back to Joel Embiid is very similar. It's like if you can't play, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So when you say, do I trust him? I don't trust them because they're too invested in Zion. Just like I don't trust Philly because they're too invested in Embiid. Your franchise player has to be durable. Your franchise player has to be Giannis, Jokic. You get what I'm saying? Shea. You got to play.
Yeah.
It can't be, you can play, 2 games and then we rest you. No. I got to know that I could count on you. They got this whole thing with 65. I hate the 65 thing. Not that I hate the rule that they put in place, but I hate that it's 65. But we used to be able to say, did he play 70 to 75 games?
Yep.
That's a season. If a player every now and then got hurt, and they play 60, 63, we could excuse it because the next year they're gonna play close to 82.
Yep.
These players now is barely touching 50, man. And I'm gonna sound like an old guy, so I don't wanna go in on that. But but in terms of the talent that um in terms of the talent that New Orleans has, they can play. Um Herb Jones, premier defender, Zion, dominant player. Um the struggle with them, I would say, is more so their guard play. Zion's specialty is very versatile. He's been able to be used as like a point forward,
Yeah.
which kind of has opened up his game.
Hmm.
But I think they need more guards too. You know what I'm saying? What guards do they have right now? Premier guards. They got Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
Jordan Poole, he's ever since that punch. It's unfortunate, man. Cause
Hasn't quite been the same.
right, you know what I'm saying?
McCollum.
CJ,
Yeah.
he's old
Yeah. And Alvarez, right?
now. GTA,
Yeah.
he's good, but he gets injured a lot.
Yeah.
But Jose, good energy.
Yeah.
Um, and then they did have the kid. Oh, Dejounte. I
Yeah.
forgot about him. He got hurt last year.
Oh, okay.
So if he plays, he could help them.
They look solid.
They look solid.
They look solid.
They look solid. What they do with it, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's gonna be interesting, man. I mean, when you look at the West, though, like I said earlier, man, it's really just it's OKC, Denver, and OKC, Denver, and Houston.
What do you expect Houston to be? Yeah.
Come on, man. But I think Denver. I think Denver's won, man. I think Denver got the best team, man.
Okay.
They got rid of Michael Porter Jr. They
Yeah.
brought in Cam Johnson shooting.
Yeah.
They got Valanciunas for backup center. They brought back Bruce Brown.
Yeah.
I just felt like whatever they was last year,
The Bruce Brown, who was big for them
when they won the chip, right?
during the run, and then they definitely missed him after that. So
I don't know, man. It should be interesting. Before we get out of here, I want to ask you, big LeBron fan.
yeah, I would actually Lakers.
It's a lot. It's a lot that went into this whole Luka trade or lack thereof, which is very controversial
Yeah.
because of how that happened. Last year, they figured out how to get top 3, but it didn't work out because of their depth. So they went and got Aiden.
Yeah.
But they're at a interesting transition because it's town.
Yeah.
It's town.
Yeah.
How you feel about that? What's going on?
No, I really don't know what's gonna work out, right? Like LeBron not gonna play till November, apparently mid-November. LeBron
He got sciatica, bro.
Yeah, he's old, bro. LeBron is old. It's the year 23, right? I think it's time, right? I think it's been an illustrious career. Like, to me, not the GOAT, but knocked on the door of it. All right. To me, a top 3 player ever. Illustrious career. We'll see what the year looks like. Luke is apparently in shape, so we'll see how that looks, right? Ayton could be a gift or a curse, right? I think amongst the good bigs, Ayton may be the worst, right? The worst is good. So no shade to him, but yeah, it's just from him, you're not sure what you're gonna get. So let's see. That was their big upgrade, Ayton. A big having a serviceable big did hurt them against Minnesota for sure, right? So that series may have been different if they had someone at least quality, right?
What do you think about the coaching? That's been an issue for the Lakers over the last couple of years.
JJ looked really good sometimes, and sometimes it looks like, what are you doing, right? Especially in the playoffs. With lack of rotations, it looks like, hey, like what's happening, right? So we'll see. I do think he's an intelligent, smart guy, and I think he studies a lot, right? So we'll see how that translates to to his performance while coaching Lakers. But yeah, it was. I think last year he had a mixed season. All right. I mean, he ended with a top seed in the West, like a top seed in the West, right? So that's awesome. But then it led to an early flame out, right? And also the team was like changed pretty abruptly throughout in the season, right? So gave him a top 5 player, but also a big part of his offensive and rebound, offense, defense, and rebounding left as well, right? So I think that was tough for anyone to overcome. So we'll see how much he's learned from last year, how his summer went, and we'll see what kind of coach he comes back to be for Lakers this year. But right now, I mean, the verdict is out. They invested in him. He says all the right things, right? He looks like he like focuses and studies a lot. He takes his job really seriously. But we'll see if it matriculates to on court success for Lakers.
But what's the on-court success? Are they supposed to be a championship team?
I think they believe that. I think a top 5 seed is best case scenario for them. I think it'll be tough.
I think a realistic
Okay.
goal for them should be second round.
Okay.
Second round
Yeah.
competing with a chance to get to the Western Conference Finals. Now, obviously, if they lose, it's going to be, well, why didn't they get it done? But I think with LeBron on their roster right now, they're very limited.
Yeah.
Because so much of what they do is predicated on him being good.
Mm-hmm.
And reality is he's old.
Yeah.
So you can't really maximize what you're going to be while he's on the team.
Yeah.
But they are prepared for when he leaves. They're not like when he leaves is going to free up that money, and hopefully they use the money properly to get the pieces they're going to need. So I think they're willing to sacrifice this season knowing that he's leaving.
Yeah.
When that happens, everything you said about JJ has to be in the fold. So these 2 years that just passed, last year and this one, that's going to be his learning curve.
Yeah.
Because after that, it's going to be all right. LeBron's going, Luka's the man. We got to win.
Yeah.
Right. In terms of what the West looks like, with OKC, Houston, and Denver being at the top, at the forefront. I'm purposely leaving out Minnesota because of 2 things. Rudy Gobert's on your team, and I don't want to be dismissive of Rudy's impact, but when Rudy's on your team, it's very, very difficult to truly do what you're supposed to do because of his limitations on the floor. But Minnesota as well, they top 4, right? So the Lakers and Minnesota are kind of in the same space, but for different reasons, right? Houston, they have the coaching, they have the premier go-to guy now, which they were missing last year, but they also have the youth. When you speak about the other Thompson twin, you speak about Sengun. Now they lost Fred VanVleet to an Achilles injury, which is tough because he was like a veteran point guard for them.
Yeah.
But they did bring in KD for veteran leadership too. So Reed Shepard
is their guard. Yeah. So we'll see.
Right? He's having a good off season, a good preseason. He's showing he can stretch the floor.
Yeah.
He should have probably been playing last year too.
Yeah. They had too much.
Right. So now
yeah.
This year he's playing Jabari Smith. It's another Eason. So they got bodies that they could just play in their mold to Udoka's style as a coach. And Ime Udoka allows them to be very, very formidable for a long time. They want to maximize the rest of this KD window.
Yeah.
We spoke about Denver. We spoke about their championship pedigree. I think an issue for them is always going to be Jamal Murray. And I say Jamal Murray because of him being Jekyll and Hyde. He's up and down. And because of that, I think that limited them in some ways too, because when he's playing at his best, they are amongst the best. But when he's not, so much is on Jokic to like do the everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an issue. And then you got OKC, who's ready.
The Clippers. How you feel about the Clippers? a big controversy with Kawhi and getting paid under the table. So, but they have a really strong roster, right? And they added Bradley Beal, who does he does Bradley Beal still have, like
Listen,
they finish
listen, bro.
fill up forever?
Listen, bro.
They,
Listen, bro.
they got talent over there, right? But
Joel Embiid, Zion, Kawhi.
yeah,
It's the
the
same conversation
biggest
every
what,
year.
right? Yeah,
It's always a what if. It's always particularly. I mean, I'm not gonna put Zion in the same space with Embiid and Kawhi because they're more accomplished players in
yeah,
terms of when they play. But it's the same conversation every year. It's always if they play. Kawhi is the Kawhi is Kawhi's at a higher level than Embiid because he won a chip. But I mean, he's kind of like the poster child for what Embiid is. Like,
yeah,
you know, the only difference is Kawhi don't say nothing, so he can hide sometimes.
legit.
You know what I'm saying? But he don't play.
No.
He did say going into this off season was the first off season in a while he was like fully healthy. So he's using that as a motivated factor to be even better for this year. When he does play super efficient, uber efficient, prolific, he could carry the weight on both sides of the floor, offense and defense. So if he's there, the Clippers can be a top 5 team, which they were last year. James Harden had a resurgent season last year. So to get him playing at that level still, hopefully, and Kawhi playing Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is an interesting case, man, because what is Bradley Beal's peak? Bradley Beal's peak is COVID years, empty numbers, but then he got Westbrook.
Yeah.
When he got Westbrook, he was still 30, but it was like consequential. He was able to, get to the playoffs. But outside of those years, he's really like at his best, maybe 22 to 23.
Guy for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not that guy anymore either.
Yeah.
So what version of Bradley Beal are you supposed to get? His Phoenix Suns era was really bad.
Yeah.
That was bad because of the contract that Washington gave him. So now on the Clippers, he's not looked at as that person or the need to be that person. Is he comfortable with just scoring 15 points a game?
He's gonna have to be to be successful in his role with the Clippers.
Right. So him being the third or fourth option, he's gonna be asked to be a healthy Norman Powell.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And I think he can do that.
Yeah.
I think he can do that. I think his value would be more on the defensive end. Can he lock up? Can he be a secondary ball handler sometimes? They did bring in Chris Paul, who's supposed to help them in the locker room too. I don't know.
Bill can be a secondary ball handler. I'm not sure if we can expect him to be the defender that Norman Powell was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's their ceiling? Win the West?
The Clippers always look interesting, right? It always looks like if they're healthy, they're a team that can contend, right? But then it pans out. I think last year they ran into Denver, right?
They went 7.
Went 7, right? Could have went in either way. Perhaps if they had a different matchup, that's different, right? Because now you have 2 teams with championship aspirations, right? So that was tough. But yeah, let's see. If Kawhi stays healthy,
wait, before you say that, what's a healthy Kawhi? 60 games?
60 games. Yeah.
60, bro?
60 games for him, yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, 3/4 of the season is healthy for him, right?
Okay.
I'm not sure if we can expect more with his history and his age.
So healthy Kawhi.
Yeah.
Good James Harden.
Yeah, good James Harden. Really an effective point guard, right? A top tier point guard in the NBA, right? This is like James Harden has had two careers, right? The uber scoring and the uber playmaking guy once he got to like Brooklyn, right? So I think he transitioned from being a 30 point per game scorer to being like a really dominant playmaking setup man, right? So we'll see. So I think he's fit into that role really really well, right? And I think it allowed him to be serviceable than most elite scorers at this juncture in their career. So I think that'd be good. I think he'll continue to be that. All right. We'll see what if the quick for leadership is a thing for them. They got Big Zoo in the middle. Who's ever improving. They are well coached, right? By Ty Lue. We'll see what they look like. I think if healthy, potentially a top 4 seed.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, so and they do got Bogdanovich.
Yeah.
They do have Derrick Jones. They did pick up John Collins in the all season too. I think to your point about the bodies, they have the depth to play. They have the depth on the paper to be a challenge. They do have it on the paper. Um, what happened? You spoke about Tom Lue. You mentioned the coaching. You think he's a good coach?
Yeah, you and I have spoken about this for maybe the last 10 years now, right? I think he's definitely an above solid coach, right? I'd say he's a pretty good coach, yes. I say he's a pretty good coach. He players like him and respect him, right? Which I think is half the battle in terms of coaching. Yeah.
Okay. But do you think that he's kind of like in a space where he's a serviceable coach, he's a good coach, but there isn't a championship. There isn't championship expectations on his teams. On
Yeah,
the paper, yes, but I mean, like in terms of where they are at the end, they're never like.
and it makes for it, right?
Now, for whatever reason that may be, now with Cleveland in particular, you got LeBron, you're going to the finals.
Yeah.
You got one chip.
Yeah.
This Clipper iteration, it sort of seems like Doc Rivers all over again.
It does, right? And Doc said that Doc said, well, I don't know who different. Tyloo was right there. So with him and Poor George kind of have been having a back and forth. What we can say is that Ty Lue expects a lot from his players. He never been scared, and he never been scared to challenge elite players, right? And I think they respect him, right? When you put LeBron, right, who's probably like the most headstrong personality like we've seen right up the stars, right? Ty Lue challenged him, especially in that last game. Like, wait, you the one, right? Like, what's up, right? Like, and LeBron was mad about it in the moment, but he was like, yo, he rolled out at me. So I think that's important, right? Him not being afraid to challenge elite players regardless of stature. And I think I think he's just a solid, tough nosed guy, right? I think teams play hard for him. I think he gets it done. He put JR in position. I mean, to really play well in the last 3 games of that series with Golden State. I think that's Ty Lue's legacy, right? Getting demanding demanding the best of really good players, right? And not being afraid to challenge them. And I think that's half the battle with good coaching.
Okay. So we'll see. So we're gonna say top 4 is solidified, but then there's dark horses in
Yeah.
the Clippers.
Yeah, I think top 4 should be what they aim for if things go right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So they can knock off. They could be better than Minnesota.
Oh yeah, they can be for sure.
They could be better than Minnesota. Can Minnesota be better than Denver? OKC.
I don't think so, but we'll see.
Okay, so the odd man out will be Minnesota.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Before we get out of here, one more. Russell Westbrook finally got picked up.
Yeah, but I don't know the Kings. I don't know what the Kings are doing, right? I'm not sure, but it's all but Russell Westbrook is one of the hardest playing players we've seen, right? Shows up every night, full of energy, full of intensity, and he wants it, right? So you do wish he was leaving. He was at the turn of his career with a chance to compete for a championship. That won't happen in Sacramento, but you also don't want to see a player like Russell Westbrook not on an NBA team at this juncture, right? He's the guy who deserves to be in the league still, right? So you're happy for that front, but you just kind of um you it's unfortunate that it's in this way on a team that you won't get to see him compete for a championship. That's the downside of it.
Let me say this though. Everything you said is 100% correct. Russell Westbrook is deserving of being in the NBA. Russell Westbrook is arguably one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA because of accolades alone, all of his achievements being what they are. He's very, very close to multiple milestones in regards to uh, most points by a point guard,
Yeah.
10,000 assists, uh, rebounds by a point guard. He's tapping into some spaces that when he's done, you're gonna say, "Wow."
He did that.
From where he started to where he ended at, amazing. So he needs to be in the league just for that. The argument that I'm gonna pose right here in regards to being on a contender is that Russell Westbrook is always on contenders. Russell Westbrook has always been on some of the most talented teams. Russell Westbrook is in year 18. The way that it was projected, especially in the all season, was like he's being blackballed out of the league and stuff like that. I'm like, he played 17 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of years to play basketball.
How long should an NBA career last, right?
Right. Now, what I'm saying, I'm not saying that Russell Westbrook shouldn't be given his flowers. He deserves to be on a team. For it to get to this late in the off season, basically a week left in preseason, and you're gonna sign him is very, very tough on any player to come in and just be ready to play. If anybody is ready to play, it'll be Russell Westbrook. But I'm saying what I'm saying is that Russell Westbrook has exhausted every ounce of his talent. He's played on great teams. He's been in championship contending teams, playoff contending teams. He's even taken teams that was not playoff worthy and got them to the playoff. The Washington Wizards with Bradley Beal. He's been on some of the most he's been on some of the best teams on paper that didn't live up to their potential, like the Lakers or the Clippers. So he's touched every piece of basketball in terms of winning or lack thereof that you can have. If it just ended like that, that's what it was gonna be. I didn't like the fact that people were trying to push that narrative because he literally has played as long as you could possibly play and be a great player. Like, he's an all-time great player. But again, I'm glad he's on the Kings. I'm glad he got a shot to finish a lot of those accolades we spoke about. The one thing I'll say that I don't like is that his career is non-guaranteed. So the Kings can waive him at any point, which is kind of whack.
Yeah.
But again, he's gonna play. Their potential, you got DeRozan, you got Zach LaVine.
I don't understand why they would try to recreate what happened in Chicago that didn't work.
Yes.
Yeah, it seemed like there's no direction over there, right?
But they didn't have a point guard. They got a point guard now.
Yeah, see, I don't let's see. Yeah. We'll see, bro. It's gonna be tough out there. It's gonna be tough. They still got some, yeah, at one point it looked like they were emerging, right? When they had Mike Brown and Young.
No, the year that Lonzo got hurt.
Yeah, and they
yeah.
No, I mean Sacramento.
Okay.
DS is to 7 games. That's Steph went crazy in game 7.
50, yup.
Yeah, but De'Aaron was on his neck all series, right? And De'Aaron got hurt that series, kind of, right?
Yeah, he played, but he kind of was.
Yeah, so this that right, and it looked like they were finally knocking on that door. De'Aaron done had some really good seasons, right? He got 28, right? And he got a year where he was averaging 30 up to a certain point. So it's like, damn. Now he in
on San Antonio. What are they gonna be?
I think we got here. We got to talk about how San Antonio always never down for too long. Shout out to Pop, right? this may be like the end of the road for his coaching career, but they've been good for 30 years or so, right? And even when they're down, they retooled the best ever. That's the quintessential ideal NBA front office, right? Never down for too long, and there's always hope for the future. They got Wemby, right? Then they got another rookie of the year in Castle, right? Now they draft Dylan Harper, right? And it's like, damn, like they did they over there right. I am a tad concerned with what they do with the guard trio because they have Dylan Fox Dylan Fox and Castle, right? So I want to see how that plays out, right? And Fox got a big extension, but yeah, they just have like pieces, right? And
So I think that window, not to
yeah,
cut you off, that window is predicated on Fox.
yeah,
Fox is at in the heart of his prime.
mm-hmm,
Wimby is a player who's not in his prime, but you see the flashes of brilliance, so you want to try to align him
mm-hmm,
toward the space of elite player
mm-hmm,
before he even is ready. Like you want to get him there. Him with De'Aaron or put him in if they go to the playoffs and are playing at an elite level,
mm-hmm.
those experiences are going to expedite it really really fast.
Yeah,
So those two together, that tandem should align everything you're saying about the question marks, like who's going to do what, where they are. Like the playoffs will reveal what they're supposed to be
yeah,
if they could get there.
yeah. De'Aaron Lonzo, that same type. They're around 28 now, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're still like young enough but old enough at the same time, right?
Right. You need. So if you're saying 28, you saying 4 years.
Yeah, right. They gotta get them between now and 32ish, right?
Right.
Yeah, it'll be special. For a year, they had Keldon Johnson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still there, right? Who at some it was looking like they were kind of pushing him to be like the next one, right? But I'm not sure if that's a role he was comfortable in or suited for, right? So I do think it is good that he gets to fall back into a serviceable kind of player, right? But not one that's supposed to carry low because that's not who he is. I don't believe, right? No disrespect to him, right? So I think he's really a good young probably peace player, right? But at
Mm-hmm.
some point, when the Spurs were going through like the motions of rebuilding, retooling, this seemed like he was like the next one up, and that and I don't think he was quite that.
Yeah. He was only that because he needed to be,
Sure.
not because like they
Yeah.
really wanted it. But
Or
I
believe that was the case, yeah.
right. But I think when you look at like how the team is built right now, they have a franchise player. They have a point guard
Yeah.
who's an elite point guard.
Mhm.
They have um they have weapons on the wings that could be defenders if you need to build them into that. Or, like they just gotta find like a steady shooter,
Yeah.
you know. But they have the bigs. They got Kelly Olynyk. You got Harrison Barnes, who's like could be a stretch forward, could be a small forward. So the Spurs are like that X factor too, where it's like if they could figure it out, obviously they got the not the new coach. He's been in waiting for a while, but handpicked by Pop.
Yeah.
You're gonna get you're gonna get, or hopefully you're gonna find out who this team could be. Could this team be like Orlando 2 years ago? Like that's
Potentially, right, for sure. Right. So I think we have an exciting season upon us.
yeah, definitely. We're gonna definitely tap in. We got this foundation preview right here, so we could always reference back to this to see
Yeah.
who has followed suit to what we said,
Yep.
who veered off the path, and what team didn't we mention that could really jump in for sure. All right. We're
Cool.
going this episode is done. A legend of two games. I'm Isaiah Rhodes, Frank Tier. We'll definitely tap in throughout the season. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Peace. That's good, bro. How long? Like hour 15? Hour 10?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like an hour 10.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was good.
That was good. So we could definitely do that one. And then hold on.